Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all oh boy, it's gonna be one of those days. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about disappointing makeup products that have let me down. And it's taken me a little bit. For some of these products, it took me a little bit to like realize that like it just wasn't gonna work out, you know? So I do have 9 disappointing makeup products to talk to you guys about. I believe I filmed 2 other disappointing makeup products videos in the history of my channel, so if I can find them, I'll link them below. I don't know how like I literally cannot speak today. I do not know how relevant they will be, but if you're interested, I will try and find those and link them down below. If you guys are interested in hearing about the 9 products that have let me down lately, then stay tuned. But first, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll consider doing so before you go. I post videos every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And without further ado, let's talk about some disappointing products. Before we start, I played around with the, okay, so just a little bit of, what do they call it? Oh, not yard work, housekeeping. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. Number 1, I played around with the Huda Neon Obsessions palette today in orange, and then I thought I would mix my neons with the green sweater, and then I thought I would toss on like a holographic lip. So it might be a lot right now, and if so, I apologize and I understand. And then the second thing is I am wearing a bra right now. It's a strapless bra, so like I feel like, you know, I don't see I have a bra on, but I feel like I look like very like long and like I have nothing going on here. So just so you know, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Okay you guys, let's get into some disappointing products. So I want to talk about one that like isn't necessarily a new release from like the last couple of years, and honestly I don't even know if you can buy this anymore, but I was looking through my collection just to make sure, you know, just to see if there was anything else I needed to throw in to talk to you guys about. And I gotta admit, the Cover FX like pressed highlighter, this is in the shade Moonlight, is definitely a disappointing product in my opinion. I thought this was going to be like an intense highlight, and there it is. And it might look like a little bit more intense on camera, but it's pretty subtle, and I keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to declutter this. It also is fairly light, so unless I'm at my fairest, this looks just weird on me. I can't remember why I was like so excited to purchase this, but I thought this was going to be like my new favorite highlight when I did purchase it, and it definitely did not turn into a favorite. Can't remember if I already said this because clearly I'm a spaz and my mind is everywhere as always, but I've gone back and forth on whether or not I should declutter this so many times, and I thought I was going to declutter it, and then I like look at it here and I'm like, well, maybe I'll keep it around for like a subtle highlight, you know, on subtle highlight. I cannot decide, but regardless, this was a disappointing highlighter. Next up is an eyeshadow palette that I purchased this year, and I don't dislike this eyeshadow palette, but I was so excited for this. And I knew it wasn't going to be an eyeshadow palette that I was going to like be using all the time, but I thought it would be a little bit more usable than it is. It is the Melt Smoke Sessions palette, and the reason that I find this to be disappointing is because, one, when I've tried to create an eye look using like the shimmers, I've found that like even some of these shimmers don't necessarily translate well onto the eye. Like they just don't look that good next to each other, and it could be because I am like horrible at creating makeup looks. The shimmers are stunning and beautiful, do not get me wrong. You just have to be careful, and I feel like I have to reach into another palette and just top it with one of these shimmers, because I find that both of these mattes just translate to like black eyeshadow on my eye. So it's just not a very wearable palette, and I knew that going into it, but I thought I would be able to reach into this and create like a green toned look, which I know I really could do, but it's just a little bit more difficult to use than I had originally anticipated. Regardless, I knew that I wanted this palette because I just thought the concept behind it was awesome. Like definitely very daring of the brand. I feel like, you know, they kind of not necessarily like crossed the line, but they weren't afraid to like take a risk with the concept behind the palette, and I just love marketing like that. I love when brands aren't afraid to kind of push the boundaries. because I myself like to push the boundaries sometimes. Anyway, this was disappointing, and it was also expensive. Probably wouldn't recommend it unless, you know, you're buying it for like nostalgic reasons. Or like you're an incredible makeup artist, then I'm sure you could get this to work for you, but me, myself, and I could not. Okay, so this is makeup setting spray, and this is by Skindinavia. This is the makeup finishing spray. And the reason I purchased this is because when I was in Las Vegas 2 years ago for my best friend's bachelorette party, one of my friends had the Skindinavia setting spray, and I'm fairly confident it was this one. And she used it and literally like fell asleep in her makeup, and she woke up the next day and it legitimately looked like she had just done her makeup. Like she had gotten shit-faced, gone to bed with her makeup still on, and she woke up and she looked freaking good. So I was like, okay, like clearly I need this because it's gonna make my makeup last for freaking ever. Like I could do my makeup today, spray my face, and when they bury me 6 feet in the ground, it's still gonna look like I just did my makeup. That's not the case, at least not with this one. I don't know if maybe I purchased the wrong one. Again, I have the makeup finishing spray. This, I'm wondering, alcohol is the second ingredient on this. I was like, every time I spray this, I feel like my skin gets dry. I just don't like it. I'm gonna use it up, but going forward, the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray is still my go-to for a setting spray that's gonna make my makeup last. And as far as like my favorite setting spray, it'd either be MAC Fix Plus for setting in your powders, or the Glow Recipe Watermelon Ultra Fine Mist just to like set my face. I friggin' love that mist. This was a complete dud for me. Okay, this one is a fine product, but it was just a letdown for me personally. This is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick in the shade Amber, which is a contour shade for me. And this is just a little bit dry, isn't the right word. You have to like warm it up on your hand, and I probably just am not using it the right way. I usually use this as a nose contour. Anytime I've tried to use it as an actual contour, it's just a little bit gray and a little bit ashy and a little bit hard to blend out, if I'm being 100% honest. I thought this was going to be like my staple go-to nose contour, which it will be until I use this, which I have so much product in here because I need so little. I don't even have to roll this up yet, and I use this every day as a nose contour. And my daughter's even played with this and like wasted some product. So I probably will have this until the end of time, but I thought this was gonna be like something that I was able to use as a nose contour every day and just like freaking nail my nose contour, which I'm still trying to learn how to do. Now I'm like, don't look at my nose, because today we were playing around with the nose contour and it's probably looking like I broke my nose like 5 times in my life. Anyway, I was really counting on this to be like my saving grace for figuring out how to do nose contour, and it definitely did not turn out to be that. And it also did not turn out to be a product that I would use as a face contour, just because, again, it is a little bit harder to blend out. So it was just disappointing. Again, not a bad product. I know some people really, really do like this, but I probably would not purchase this again. I'd be on the hunt for another new product that I felt like would work. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys about the product that actually like inspired me to get my thoughts together on other disappointing products to film this video, because this is not a product that released this year. This released last year, and I thought I loved this, and then I recently pulled it in the past couple of months to my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, and the more I use it, the more it really is a letdown, and it's the ABH Norvina palette. Now, I wouldn't declutter this because I basically just collect ABH palettes at this point, but the glitters, or like the shimmers in this palette, are pretty darn chunky, like throughout. And every time I use this eyeshadow palette, I feel like I have like a really exciting look in mind, and then I'm like really bummed out by the final like outcome, which happens a lot of times when I'm doing my makeup, but like it always happens with this palette. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some beautiful shades within this palette, but like if this went missing, I definitely wouldn't go repurchase it. So I hit pan on the shade Dreamer right here, and it really wasn't that hard to do because it's such a chunky shimmer, and every time I would wear it halfway through the day, I'd have like glitter fall out all over my face. And I found that with quite a few of the other shimmers. Like I always get really excited to use this dazzling shade, but I have to be very careful with it. I have to put down a glitter glue. I want to use a wet brush. Same with Wild Child, and honestly Wild Child, I like want it to be like more pink, but then when it's blended out, it's like pretty sheer. So, and then same with Rose Gold. I always get super excited to use this. And Rose Gold really is truly like a stunning shimmer shade, but it's just a little bit chunky. And then Celestial, like it's just like it's just, you know, like the shimmers truly are a letdown in here. I do really like the mattes for the most part. I'm not totally in love with the Soul shade, and honestly Eccentric always ends up just looking weird on my specific eyelids. But I did want to mention this because I thought I loved this palette, but the more I've used the shimmers, the more annoyed I get because they are just so chunky. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. I'm definitely interested in hearing your thoughts on that. Okay, another eyeshadow palette that I purchased this year was the Pat McGrath. I think that this was like called the Fetish set. So it came with this 6-pan eyeshadow palette. It came with the, I think it's the Fetish Eyes mascara, which also is a disappointing product. Literally the worst mascara I have ever used in my life. I'm not kidding when I say halfway through the day, maybe even like a couple hours into the day, I had like mascara transfer on my cheeks, like by my jawline. So we have this eyeshadow palette here. Again, 6-pan, $48 for the set. I forgot to mention you also got like a loose, almost like a loose glitter. I forget what she calls them. And that too was just like almost like hard. Like I feel like I got glitter in my eye when I used that, and it like was scratchy. So $48. Like I don't dislike this eyeshadow palette, but I feel like when I swatched this, I was like super excited about it because the shimmers swatch so beautifully. I'm gonna swatch them all for you. But on the eyes, they're just like mediocre, like at best when you consider the price of Pat McGrath. So there they are right there. Again, like they're fine, but they're just not like so high quality that I feel like they're worth the price point. Now I know the Pat McGrath like 6-pan or 10-pan eyeshadow palettes, they have some really unique shimmers in there, but these I just feel like are your standard shimmers that you can find probably in your collection somewhere. And then you have a black shade, which I never use black eyeshadow, and I have black eyeshadow in other palettes. And then we have this warm tone like reddy brown shade, which I think is really pretty. I've created looks that I like with this palette, but I just think for the price this wasn't worth it. Okay, and the last three are probably the most recent purchases / disappointments for me. So next we have the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand. And this is supposed to be like a highlighter blush. And the reason I purchased this was like, I heard Kathleen Lights talk about it and I immediately went on and purchased this. So this I think has some eyeshadow mixed into it too. But essentially it's just like a liquid blush. This is what the applicator looks like. I already don't love the applicator. You like have to twist it and then you like pounce it on your cheeks. When I saw Kathleen Lights use this, it looked so beautiful and I could see like the pigment and the glow on her skin. Every time I use this, I feel like I just blend it away into nothing. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or what, but I paid $38 for this. And I wanted my cheeks to look like Kathleen Lights, and they definitely did not. So this was definitely a disappointment to me. Still want to try some of the Charlotte Tilbury products that are similar to this, like the contour that has this applicator, which I know so many people complain about. I really want to try because everyone says the product is so good, but I don't know. I'm hoping maybe if I just keep using this, one day my cheeks will just like glow up like they're supposed to. But I have not been able to get this to work like I wanted to, which is such a bummer because I was so excited about this. Next up is this Ofra primer. This is the Rays of Light primer, and this is supposed to be a bronzing primer. And let me show you guys. Okay, let me wash my hand really quick. Okay, so this is supposed to be a bronzing primer and also an illuminating primer, which is fine. Like, I love a good illuminating primer. So I'm going to do one pump on my hands. This retails for $18, which is not a bad price. I will say that. Okay, let's see if this bronzes my hand up at all. So it looks like it might be bronzing, and then it basically just kind of wears away into absolutely nothing. Like, I mean, I did just wash my hand and there's like eyeshadow all over. Do you see a difference? Because I don't. And I never notice a difference when I put this on my face. I do notice a difference when I use the Be Bronzy, like D-Bronzy, whatever the freaking bronzing thing is from Drunk Elephant. I notice a difference, and I love that product, which is what I wanted this primer to be. A bronzing primer, so that I could maybe like help match myself a little bit better in the summertime when I'm using self-tanner more often. But this was not that. I don't feel like... But this was not that, and I personally like don't feel like that. Like, this is just like a standard primer. It adds a little bit of tack maybe, but it's just like truly like a meh. Like, I would rather use other primers in my collection that actually do something rather than just this letdown. Is basically what I'm trying to get at. So although I think $18 is not bad at all for an Ultra primer, it just was a waste. Like, I'm totally let down by this. And part of me wants to declutter it. I'm not going to return it. Part of me wants to declutter it because I just think like I'm just annoyed. So I was trying to curate my primer collection. I thought this would be a good addition, and it definitely isn't. So would definitely skip this, you guys. Like, get a First Aid Beauty primer. I like their matte one. I like their coconut skins, but like, they're $28. They're so good. I know that's $10 more than this, but it's definitely worth spending the extra. Okay, and then the last product that I want to mention is this NARS Hot Nights palette. Now, this NARS palette is $59, so it is expensive. I was so excited about this though, because I thought this was just going to be like an all-encompassing summer palette that I was going to be able to just reach into this, create a very like smoldering, beautiful, like sexy summer look, whether it be like day or night. I thought like we were gonna be, it was just gonna be me and this all summer long. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And the bronzer, for one, looks like it's gonna be pretty light in the pan, but then it turns into this like darker orange shade that I just was not a fan of. And then as far as the eyeshadows are concerned, they're pretty, but I feel like because they aren't matte, they're like this satin sort of finish. They don't, like, you can't really blend them together to create a good look. Like, maybe you can do these two together. So if you're going in for an eyeshadow, it's really like you choose one and you put it on your eye, and like that's fine. But this just was not what I was expecting to be at all. The highlight shade too is just like, I don't even know if you can you see that? Like, can you? Like, the highlighter is literally nothing. Which I figured for like a hot night, it's like, hello. Okay, maybe you can see it a little bit better there, but it's nothing on the skin. And I thought it would be like a beaming highlight because it's like hot summer night. Like, come on, like, you're supposed to glow in the summer. Like, am I wrong? So this was definitely a letdown. I did use Ulta points on this, and thank goodness I didn't spend like my own money on it, but it's almost like I wasted those points on $59 of sheer disappointment. So I don't even know if you can get this anymore. Like, all NARS palettes are limited edition, I swear, but if you can, skip it. After that, that is going to conclude the current disappointments within my makeup collection. You guys will have to weigh in down below in the comments and let me know and let everyone else know what products currently are disappointing you, so that we can all save some money and not buy shitty products. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.